This is my intro. There are many others like it, but this one is mine.
Oh, I have returned from the dead. Well, not really. I've been working because I have a job, and I needed to get a microphone. And lo and behold, I finally have a microphone. Yay for me! And I just want to thank the power of thrifting for giving me this blue snowball mic. So this is Dan of Boilerplate Socialism. Thank you, sports fans, for the long wait. It's good to be back. Today I wanted to talk about a very famous, well, not exactly famous, but a very important communist figure, Louise Strong. She was a suffragette, a labor organizer, and a all-around great human being. She was born in Nebraska. In 1919, she was one of the major leaders of the Seattle General Strike. She was the first woman elected to the Seattle School Board, and she was ousted for the crime of opposing World War I. Yes, that's right, she opposed the draft at a time of devastating inter-imperialist warfare. Now, I want to bring up Louise Strong because, like I said, she was a suffragette, a labor organizer. She was everything reactionaries hate. She was tall, she was childless, she was educated, highly intelligent. So, of course, reactionaries all over the world would shudder in fear of her. But I think she's a great human being. And the reason I do want to talk about her is for her body of writing and reading. After the Seattle General Strike, she chose to move to the nascent USSR and write about things there, where she lived for 20 years. And in the late 1920s, would make trips to China to check up on the Civil War and report there. Which brings me to my point. I knew of this woman, I knew she existed as a socialist, but I'd never actually read her work until I went into my public library and found a copy of Chinese Conquer China, which is a story of her time in Civil War China, right up until the end of the Civil War, and including her interview with Mao Zedong. And I thought it was a fantastic book, and for me as a socialist, it really cuts to the core of why I'm a socialist and why people support it, and why socialism in China is a very popular thing, because you ever seen those I was gonna say Shenmue, I'm not sure what it's called, Shen It's basically Chinese Scientology, and they have like allegedly historical Chinese ballet, and the poster says, China before communism. Well, Louise Strong was there. She was there, China before communism. And she spoke to people who lived China before communism. And it was foot binding, it was opium, and it was basically like Game of Thrones, with all of the violence and sexual violence that took place with it, only a lot less, how do I say this here, a lot less white. So again, I plan to read more books by her because I think she's a very fantastic writer. She really draws you in, and she makes you feel like you're actually in a cave in Yan'an talking to Mao Zedong while you're reading her books. It's, I don't want to call it gonzo journalism, but she is very much putting herself into it. She is very much interacting with the people she interviews on a one-on-one basis, and she really humanizes those people. Again, like the YouTuber, or I think TikToker Lady Idzar has done some work on Louise Strong. I'll put some of that in the description below. But was that her great crime was that she humanized the peoples of China and the USSR. To her, the USSR was not a devil or a god. It was a human project with foibles and faults and virtues. And that is what brings me to my next point, was that I think she was not a great leader. She was a great human being. She was not an actual leader, but she was a phenomenal writer. And I think that it's good for socialists, aspiring left-wingers, leftists, and people of all stripes to be well-read and well-educated. And she is very good at that. You know, you want to read what the U.S. government doesn't want you to read Louise Strong. I highly recommend it. In fact, in the description below, I'm going to have a copy of her book, Chinese Conquer China. It is well worth your time. It's on the Internet Archive, so support them. And I just want to thank to everyone who has subscribed to me, everyone who likes, leaves a comment. I appreciate all of that very much. I am not a professional YouTuber and never will be, but your comments and your interaction give me joy on a personal level. And thank you for just being here for this little hobby of mine while we try to learn together and grow together and explore the world. So with that, I'll leave you be. Thank you for showing up. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a fantastic day.
This is my outro. There are many others like it, but this one is mine.